Welcome back to the farm. It is the Christmas season and we are decorating. Our Christmas decorations have been in storage for almost 2 years now because we have been living in a camper that whole time. We have some really old Christmas decorations. We've been married for 15 years and some of that stuff is from when we first got married. And we have other decorations that just got mice damage from being in storage. So we need a refresh, and since we now have this huge farm payment, we do not have the room in the budget to be purchasing Christmas decorations. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our own personal touch on handmade Christmas decorations. The kids are going to get involved. We're going to use a lot of natural things and things that we either just have laying around, we can find in nature, and we're going to show you what we're doing in case you're either interested in something like this aesthetic or this type of look, or if you're in a similar situation and have no budget room for holiday decorations. So we celebrated Thanksgiving a couple weeks ago. My oldest is going to be 8 years old very shortly, and this was the year that she really stepped up to the plate. She helped out a lot in the kitchen. It was such a beautiful thing to stand hip to hip with her in the kitchen, cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and Dad and some of the little kids were outside just working around the farm, getting a lot of things done. It was so much fun. And immediately after Thanksgiving, we took the weekend off. Josh was home all weekend, which is crazy. He never has a whole lot of time off in a row like that. So we were able to pull out the Christmas decorations and we were able to sort through them all. And my soon-to-be 8-year-old, when I mentioned that we were going to be doing some handmade decorations, she said she really wanted to help. And you know, what better way to sit down with her and a few of the other children than to go through and make some beautiful decorations for our new home. So we're going to make a variety of holiday decorations, and it's going to be anywhere from dried oranges that can fit onto a garland or a Christmas ornament to Waldorf stars that we're going to hang in our window. They look something like this, and there's different sizes, different styles, but I'll show you how to make these. We're also going to pull out some cinnamon dough and cut out some gingerbread men in the cinnamon dough, and my husband said that he remembers it from when he was a child. We never did that when I was a kid, but I know a lot of people have mentioned that they have done cinnamon dough ornaments as a kid. So I'll show you how to do that, and we'll throw in a few other things as well. So all of the supplies that I have used in this video, I am going to link in the description below. I know that there are some of you out there that want the exact item, and that is for you. But a lot of this stuff can just be used with similar items you have laying around the house. You don't have to use the kite paper for the Waldorf stars. You can just use regular white paper, it's fine. So to start off our Christmas decorations, we are going to work with oranges. So whether you have a dehydrator or not, you can still make dried oranges. We have a dehydrator, so we went ahead and sliced up our oranges. Now, my soon-to-be 8-year-old is the one who has helped me with this, and we practice a lot of knife skills in the kitchen. We cook 3 meals a day, side by side, every single day. We rarely eat out, so slicing oranges was not a big deal for her. I have a son who is almost 6 years old, and he is the same way. However, he would rather be slicing up sticks and trees in the woods. So to gather him in to slice oranges is not as fun for him as it is to be in the woods cutting up other things. So my daughter sat down and we sliced up some of these oranges, and it doesn't matter how thick you slice them, but do know that the thicker they are, the longer they will take to dehydrate and to dry. So you do want them as thin as possible. We did about 1/4 inch. My daughter did some that were not on such a straight line, and those took a little longer. That's fine. I am not going to be picky about that. So in the dehydrator, I just put it on the lowest setting. It's about 95 degrees, and it's gonna go for at least 24 hours. You want them really dry, because if there is moisture left in them, they will start to mildew and mold while being hung up in your house, and I don't think you want that. So go ahead and make sure you check them every once in a while and just kind of see if there's any kind of squish left to them. You don't want any type of moisture left in them. In your oven, you can go ahead and put them on like a little baking rack on a cookie sheet, or just lay them on parchment paper. It's fine. Put it on the lowest setting that you have on your oven and just let them go. So after your oranges have finished drying, whether in the dehydrator like mine or in your oven, they're gonna look kind of like this. They may be darker or lighter depending on how long you dried them for, and they're going to be pretty crispy. So you do not want much moisture left in them, because then it'll just kind of get rotten and moldy, and nobody wants that for their decorations. So what I'm going to do is make a garland, and you can make ornaments too. So you can take whatever string that you choose and just loop them either through the center or to create a hole near the top and loop them through to make like a dangly ornament. But I'm gonna make a garland. So I've had these forever. They are plastic yarn needles, and I've had them for all of my crocheting and knitting projects, but I probably got these at Walmart or some kind of hobby store, but they're just a thicker needle. And since I'm using a twine, I'm going to use this type of needle. So I'm going to thread my twine, if it'll let me. Okay. So I have my twine threaded, and it would be easy just to string them through the center, but then they're going to look like this on your garland and not flat facing like you would like. So I'm going to create 2 holes up on top here, and literally just an over under stitch. And I'll show you what it looks like. So there, when my garland is hanging, it's going to look flat. And you can hang it that way or this way, probably this way so you don't see so much string. So note that when you're threading all of your oranges, that you thread them all the same direction if you want the string showing or not. So I'm going to finish these up, and then I'll let you see what it looks like when I'm done. list is our Waldorf stars. Now, some people confuse these with a Moravian star, which we live in North Carolina. So the Moravian culture is very prominent here. These do look like a Moravian star. You can make a more broad star as well. But either way you want to call them, they're all just very pretty. We use the kite paper, K-I-T-E. I will link that in the description below. It is kind of like a wax paper. We are going to put these in our window, and so the light will filter through them, and they're going to look really pretty. Are you showing yours that you made? So these are the size papers that we have, and I think they're about a 4x4 square. You can get kite paper in just the white color. You can get them in a variety of rainbow colors as well. So this doesn't have to be just a plain rainbow or a plain white snowflake star craft. It can be rainbow as well. So I am not the greatest at folding these. This one does such a great job at folding, and so I'm gonna have her explain to you how she does it, and I will also show you a video of me attempting to fold them as well while she explains. So Miss, can you explain? So I will say this, there are, how many pieces do you have to fold to make a whole star?
8.
8. So depending on the type of star you want to make, a large star, you will have how many of these squares?
8.
8 of these squares. If you want to make a medium sized star, what do you do with your square?
You cut them in half.
Well, you cut them in half and then you cut them in half again. So you can cut these into fourths and then use those smaller squares to fold to make the medium sized star. And what crazy thing did we try doing? If you have really great dexterity, you can try even further cutting. So you take the 1/4 square from here and cut that into 4s. And then that will...
It's very hard.
It's very hard. So that means one of these papers makes 2 of these. They're so rewarding because I have the idea that you could use these to put on a gift tag, and just make it a very cute personalized Christmas gift with your little folded star on the gift tag. So I think that's a cute idea. Depending on the size of your gift tag, you could probably do one of these too, but regardless. So what do you do first with your folded sheet? Or with your piece of paper, what do you do first?
Fold it.
Fold it in half.
I got it.
And then what? Open it up so you have a line, and then you fold it in half the other direction. So you have the 2 lines, you can't really see it, the 2 lines that go crisscross. So then what you're going to do with those lines is you are going to take what? Your corners, and where do you fold them in? Can you explain it or no?
I don't.
You just know how to do it. So you're going to take your corners and fold them into the center. And you're going to do that with all 4 pieces. Or all 4 corners, rather. And then after you've folded all 4 corners, you're going to have what looks like to be a smaller an airplane. You're going to fold it airplane style next. So you're going to have a smaller square. And so you have all 4 of your corners folded in. And then, like she says, you're going to fold it airplane style. So it's hard to show you standing up like this.
Huh?
But you're going to then fold. I'll do it and then I'll show you. Right? See, like I said, I'm not the greatest at this. You are way better at this than me. You are.
I am.
You are. I think it's your small fingers and just
smaller fingers.
you really, really want to see these all up on the wall.
I do.
Or on the window, really.
I do.
So that's what we did. We took our square and then you fold that in to the center, and you're going to do the same with the other side.
Why are we doing another star?
We've made a lot. And so you're going to have what looks like this with your 2 sides folded in. You're going to make 8 of these, and then you're going to glue them together. So
I don't want to do it.
let me show you. You can see all 8. Do you prefer to make the skinny stars or the fatter stars?
Well, this one is really easy.
Why?
Well, that way you don't have to cut it and fold it again.
And the pieces are bigger too.
Yeah.
But you use up more paper, and
Yeah.
so
And
you
we
get
don't-
less stars.
Yeah, and we don't want to do that.
So it's nice to have, I think, a variety of sizes, and you can put them all together and they'll look really pretty next to each other. So you take your pieces and you are just simply going to put, we only have glue sticks in this house, so I just put a little dab of my glue stick in this area, and they're going to overlap and glue just like this. And then you're going to do that all the way around, and these make that. And then if you want to make the skinny star, you're going to take your airplane fold and you're going to do it again. And so you'll end up with slimmer
It's a little harder.
points of your star. It is harder, yes. And it's still 8 pieces.
Yes. All the stars are right.
Yes, all the
Yeah.
stars are 8 pieces. And so we will then show you a more detailed shot of folding the star so that you get a better idea. But these are so fun, and I think that I wanted to do it for myself because I was looking for something more therapeutic to unwind some stress in the evening, and you kind of budged in and wanted to help, and I didn't think that little hands would be able to manage this very well, and she took over the whole project, and she has made like all but 2 of the stars. I made 2, and then she just removed me from this project and managed it herself. So it's very nice coming back to have all of these star decorations for our window. So let's finish up this star, and then we will hang them up in our window. We're going to do this window behind the Christmas tree and see how it looks. going to be our air dry clay star garland and ornaments. So we're going to make an air dry clay, which it could be air dry, you can bake it to speed up the process, which is probably what we'll do because we're impatient. So what you're going to need is 2 cups of baking soda, 1 cup of cornstarch, and 1.5 cups of water. And I will share the recipe in the description below so that you don't have to try to memorize that right at this second. But you're going to mix your ingredients in a saucepan on the stove top, and then you're going to turn it on medium heat, and you are going to stir it constantly. Do not walk away from it. Do not stop stirring it. It will thicken, and once it thickens, you will then take it off of the heat and start kneading it and molding it into a clay ball. You don't have to use it right away from there. You can store it in an airtight container and keep it until you're ready to use it, but do not just leave it out because it's air dry clay. It will harden. We are going to use ours right away, so we're going to roll it out and we're going to use little mini cookie cutters to make different shapes, and then we are going to use the yarn needles to poke a hole in the shapes so that we can thread some twine or different string through them to make a garland to hang or ornaments. In your saucepan and it gets to almost like a really thick mashed potato or a dough-like consistency, you're gonna take it off of the heat and then continue just to stir it until it gets really, really thick, and then you're gonna transfer it into a bowl and you're gonna let it cool until it's room temperature. So it's probably gonna be about an hour or more, and every once in a while I'll just kind of like stir it a little bit just to kind of help cool it quickly. Don't forget about it because then it'll harden. But now it's a dough, and we're going to kind of play with it a little bit and then roll it out till it's about 1/4 inch thick. I have these sheet pans with parchment paper on them. We got this little mini rolling pin at a Secret Santa party just recently, and I think it's so cool. I fully plan on using it for little baking projects or crafting. So we're going to use that to roll it out. And then I have these little mini star cookie cutters. And I have a bigger one too. I probably won't use the bigger one for the garland, but maybe like an ornament. You can paint the clay after it's hardened. So this might be a really cute idea for gifting an ornament. Maybe like kids can gift their friends some ornaments, and they can paint them or, you know, write something sweet on it. And then I have the yarn needles that I'm going to use to poke holes in our stars because I want to be able to string them up. So that's the frustrating part is I've done this once and I forgot to poke holes in everything, and then it all hardened and I had nothing to string them up with. So don't forget that part. You can use toothpicks, chopsticks, but I just have these from the other craft. Thank you, sir.
Mommy.
My stars have dried. The kids got into poking them halfway through drying, and that's what happens. So just know if you put them out to air dry, that might be what happens in your house too. But I have a needle and some string to kind of help me weave these onto my garland that I have here. And I started my first one, and just like with the oranges, you're gonna go back and forth and just kind of keep the same pattern all throughout, depending on what kind of string or twine that you use. My string is not as visible as like a twine would be. I know that a lot of people have memories of this craft when they were children. So you're going to need 2 ingredients, cinnamon and applesauce, and that's it. So grab a bowl. You're going to need 1 cup of cinnamon and 3/4 cup of applesauce, and you're going to mix that up into a thick dough. And then it's optional, but I prefer to put it in the refrigerator for about an hour to let it chill. It will firm up, and after that you're going to put it out on the countertop and start rolling it out. Keep your cinnamon at hand because you're going to need it to help sprinkle onto the dough to help release it when you're cutting out your shapes. After chilling my dough for about an hour, it has firmed up to make it much easier to work with. What is going to help you even more is sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon down on either your parchment paper or directly onto your countertop so that it acts like a flower when you're kneading a dough and rolling it out to cut out the shapes. It will lift the shapes much easier. If they don't lift up very easily, then go ahead and get just a small little spatula or even just a simple butter knife will help just encourage them to come up a little bit. I am making ornaments out of mine, so I'm just doing a single hole. You can do 2 holes like the stars that we did, so you can make a garland. After I'm done cutting all of these out, I am going to lay them on parchment on my baking sheets. Just like with our stars, we can bake these gingerbread men at a really low setting, like between 170 and 200, or you can let them air dry. I'm going to bake these, and I made mine with a hole, with a single hole because I want to use them as ornaments. You can do the 2-hole method again, like we did with the stars, to make it into a garland. So I'm going to set my oven temperature to the lowest it can possibly go. I honestly don't know what that is. I think it's 200. I'm shocked. It's 170. So yeah, that's what I'm going to set it at. And I'm just going to put these in there until they're done, which I'll go in and test them probably after 1 hour at first. And then I'll go back in and adjust the time accordingly. If you're like me and you're forgetful, set a timer for 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. And then go check on them, because I'll just put them in there and then I'll smell them when they're burnt, because that's how my brain works. And now that these are nice and cooled and hardened, I am going to go ahead and make my ornaments. I'm going to take my string and I'm going to thread it through this hole that I made. I have both a little girl ornament and a little boy ornament. You can go ahead and dress these up even more if you want by adding some ribbon around their necks as little scarves. And I think those would be really cute way to make these giveable as a gift. Let's see if I can do this without the needle. There you go. When you're making your gingerbread men, just be sure that whatever hole you're poking for the garland or your string for an ornament, that you kind of swirl, you know, your needle or whatever you're using in it a bit more to widen it up so that you can easily thread it. So there's that. So I'm going to try making a scarf, and I'm not sure if it's going to work because my gingerbread men don't really have too much of a neck. And I don't know whether I want to do it like this. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'll probably take a little bit of hot glue and just put it under here so that it sets nicely. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I've got it all trimmed up. I'm going to set a little bit of hot glue under there and make his little scarf. My ribbon is a fabric ribbon, so it's kind of hard to really cinch up. But regardless, these are our little cutie ornaments, and we're just going to hang them up on the tree. Thanks everyone for hanging out while we craft. I know crafting with kids can be hard. Obviously, our video is a little wild in some certain areas because I am in the background managing 4 small children while trying to craft all these ornaments. But don't let that deter you from doing it, because it's some of the best memories that we have made together is just crafting together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look amazing. Things break, things fall apart. You know, gingerbread men heads are bigger than some others, and stars are breaking because we didn't let them air dry as long as we should have. So then we have to wait and let them bake or air dry even longer, and then kids are sad that they didn't get to string the garland right away. Ask me how I know. So I want to encourage you just to still do it, to use these items that are very easily accessible, that are inside your house, outside your house, and just make some beautiful crafts. I think it can be a really great way to create tradition around the holidays. There are some other things that you can try. We have cut long rosemary sprigs and just wrapped them together into a circle, tied a bow, and made wreaths to hang on the tree or to wrap your gifts with. You can take all of your packaging that you receive in your shipments that you're getting this time of year. The brown paper that's in it can be used to color on, and then you can wrap your gifts in it. There's a whole bunch of other ways to make your house smell good, make your decorations very sweet and very memorable. And so I hope that that is what this season is about for your family, is to create memories at home with your family.